Oh my god, the turns have tabled,
Well,
guys.
yes, how the turntables. So,
Alright, so
so,
explain this.
jump. What was that?
What your game, your rules. How we doing this?
Yeah, okay. Well, see, I can't really expect you to just look at an image and try and guess things. So, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take something from World of Warcraft, and I'm just going to describe it to you, and you need to tell me whether or not I'm lying to you.
Shit. Alright,
Yeah, it's more the One Piece way, just
yeah,
because
yeah.
WoW has existed for going on 20 decades now. The game's been remade like 6 times over, so there's a lot to
All
go through.
right.
So I'll start with something just a real fly ball for you. The light in the World of Warcraft, the light is basically just like fantasy god. It controls like radiant energy and like life energy. It's very good for healing. Priests use the light. The thing about light is it's fully conscious. So if you aren't faithful to it, or if you aren't working the way the light wants you to, it'll just completely disregard you. You could be the one of the most faithful people as well, but if you're not doing its mission, then it'll also disregard you and not let you do your thing. Um, it's the natural enemy to the fell, the evil, and yeah, it is the official like magic system of the Alliance.
Shit. uh, I'm gonna go with that. That's real. But all I could picture was Arceus in my head.
Yeah, I wouldn't fault you. I was lying actually.
Damn it.
I was lying about a good majority of all that. First of all, the Alliance does not have an official religion.
What?
Um, yeah, no, like certainly more members follow like the light than they do other things, but it's not the official. They allow warlocks in the Alliance. They allow shamans and druids and all
Okay.
these other kinds of things. The light is also only semi-conscious. By that I mean there are these gems creatures called the Naru who are embodiments of the lights that are sentient, but they are not themselves the light. They have completely different personalities. The light will basically help you do something so long as you have the will to do it. You don't have to be officially affiliated with any light source, like no church, no Templar things. You can just decide you want to do something, and as long as you have the will to do it, the light will let you do it. The Scarlet Crusade is one of the most prolific light users in the World of Warcraft, and they are very much an evil force because they kill everyone who is not a member.
Oh,
And the culling of Strathholm was committed by a light user. Uh,
wow.
if it's not clear, the culling was killing an entire village of
Well,
innocent
I
people.
agree. You describe something as a culling. I mean, that's
Yeah,
never a
I
good
mean,
thing.
so yeah,
Oh,
that's the
fuck.
thing. There was a point in time when it was just Warcraft where yeah, the light was basically just a sentient creature, like otherworldly creature. That's not the case anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm probably gonna put a scoreboard somewhere. I'm expecting to stay at a big fat zero all night
Well,
long because of that one.
we don't know.
Who knows? All right.
You could
It's
like
I have a 50-50 shot every time, no matter what.
yeah. So I kind of already I touched upon this one group, but might as well go. Am I lying or telling the truth about the Alliance, the faction, basically? The Alliance in the World of Warcraft is called the Alliance of Lordaeron. It was started basically as a means of protecting the entire planet from itself is kind of the best way to put it. Just the ever encroaching dangers of uh, what's the word? What's the word I'm looking for? The wild, like the wild magics, wild creatures, wild animals, whatever, however you want to look at that. It contains, it's open basically to anyone willing to join it, and so kind of has to deal with a lot of uh, interspersed debates, interspersed anger, a lot of people arguing. They aren't the best at getting, specific things done. They have to rely on player characters called adventurers or champions to do most of the things for them because they are just so bogged down with bureaucracy and debate that most of the time they can't help in anything other than a world destroying event. That is the Alliance. Or is it?
So, see, that's where this game gets dangerous. It's like the details matter.
I will clarify. If I am lying, it's going to be an egregious lie. Like I'm not gonna
Okay.
tell you, oh
Okay.
yeah, Orgrim Doom Axe fought members of the Silver Hand and won the Third War, and it's like, haha, his real name was Orgrim Doom Sword, but everything else really happened. No, it's gonna be I'm overtly egregiously lying to you, or I'm
Okay.
telling you as much of the truth I can. And if something was wrong, it's because I messed up.
I believe you, but with no zero knowledge of this stuff, it's not easy to tell.
It really now you know how
So
I feel when you name One Piece characters.
well, at least all you had to go off of was is stupid name or not. Um, so I know of the Alliance, and I know the fucking what is the other one? Horde isn't the other
Yeah,
one?
the Horde.
Yeah. So
We'll
I'm
get
gonna
to them.
say
Don't worry.
I I'm gonna say that what you said about the Alliance is true. That sounds about right, only because that sounds like a good in-game explanation of why the players have to do everything
Mm-hmm.
over the actual characters doing stuff themselves.
I was lying,
Oh fuck.
actually.
Hit zero.
First of all, this is not the Alliance of Lordaeron. That's a completely different thing.
The fuck.
This is just the General Alliance, whose base is in Stormwind. They pride themselves on being connected by their ideals, so they don't just let anyone in. You have
Wow.
to apply to a certain system of unity, of growth, of you have to subscribe to a whole bunch of different things. Um, and the reason that they send adventurers on their way is actually just cause. There's no real reason. Just the assumption is no one else feels like doing it. There's nothing actually stopping anyone from going on war campaigns. They actually do go on war campaigns sometimes, and your player character has to act as a soldier. And actually, they were created specifically to uh, kill the Horde. Uh, they
I should. That's where I should have fucking been
Yeah,
like
no,
that.
they
That was
were
it.
wholly created solely to beat the Horde.
That was that was the one part where I was like iffy on. Everything else, I completely believed you. But you were right. You said that you were gonna if you're gonna lie, it's gonna be egregious because that was like nothing and that was correct. All right.
Yeah.
Fuck.
All right, hey, you mentioned them already, so might as well tell you about the Horde.
See the whole.
So, the Horde is made up. Its first primary grouping are called the Orcs, who are a bunch of aliens who came from a planet called Draenor, um, through what's known as the Dark Portal, because an evil warlock by the name of Gul'dan basically told all the orcs, who by this time had left behind their once peaceful ways, to instead be warband, a massive warband, to invade other planets because his demonic masters told him that they would give him power in exchange for conquest. So the Horde began invading Azeroth. On the way, they picked up just a bunch of creatures who were more or less pariahs on the planet, including the trolls, the Tauren, Goblins, and the Blood Elves, who had been banished from the Alliance itself due to not liking being betrayed by the Alliance. They eventually actually kind of kicked Gul'dan and his Shadow Council out because they were sick and tired of being led by an evil guy, and actually tried to regain some of their honor and shamanistic forces, and are now remaining on Azeroth because their home planet is completely destroyed, completely corrupted. They can't go back even if they wanted to. and they've decided to try and reconstruct a home going better in the future.
Fuck.
Yes.
See, can I say you're really good at this?
I don't
I
slip up, do I?
I want to believe you. You say it with such confidence, like this is just completely fully rehearsed. You've been practicing this for months.
I haven't actually been rehearsing this. None of the speeches I've been talking about are rehearsed. I literally just have the thing I'm going to talk about and whether or not it's going to be a lie or a truth, and I just tell you.
There's no way orcs are aliens. I don't believe that. That's false. That is complete bullshit. There's no fucking
Keeping it
way.
at the zero. Keeping it at the zero, my
Are
dude.
you fucking
Hang on.
kidding?
Hang on.
Orcs are aliens?
Yes, they are aliens. Interestingly enough, they are from a planet called Draenor. One of the other races on their home planet are called the Draenei. The orcs are native to Draenor. The Draenei are not. Yeah, hang on. I'm just gonna send you this one quick little wiki page so you can tell that I'm not bullshitting you.
My head is genuinely spinning. I was like, that's complete bullshit.
Nope,
There's
that was
no way.
yeah, no, that's true.
The fuck? This is
Yeah,
fucking real.
yeah, it's real. It's real. It's the Orcus Reich. It's the homeworld of the Orcs. What?
But why though?
Well, I mean, why not? Clear. What, you think that orcs are native to Azeroth? What made you think that?
I've seen Lord of the Rings like once. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and the orcs in Lord of the Rings are what would you call them? The orcs in the Lord of the Rings are unnaturally made, like, corrupted elves. So, like,
Oh, is
I don't know.
the movie didn't explain that.
Oh, yeah, well, that's more like a Silmarillion type thing.
I know what the Urukai are like. Fucking further evolutions of orcs and shit. I don't know. God damn it.
Hey, don't worry, you'll get it eventually. Since we're talking about the Horde, might as well talk about one of their the races from the Horde that joined when I kind of started losing interest in WoW, the Goblins. So the Goblins are basically a race of technologically advanced little gremlins. They're like small little green things. They're very weak, like physically, but they have a very high, I guess you'd say, constitution. Like, they can survive a lot of shit. They can get blown up and just, like, keep walking. They can survive in, like, these what would you call them, mines, like breathing in just the ash and the soot and really not give a shit. They were actually probably one of the more primitive races on Azeroth. They are native to Azeroth, until they came across this mineral called Kajamite, which, when they breathed in the dust from it, actually began hyper accelerating their brains, making them a lot more smart. Naturally, being very intelligent, but not being, prepared for, like, the responsibility that intelligence brings, they became capitalists. And so took the dust of the Kajamites and made it into a soft drink that they sell. And they basically broke into a whole bunch of other industries, including the oil industry, shipping and receiving. They became some of the richest, like one of the richest races on the entire planet, doing nothing but just outrageous buying and selling. So outrageous, in fact, you can actually play as a goblin druid, which is weird because druids are supposed to be about the balance of nature and protecting the balance of nature. Goblins routinely destroy nature. The reason they're around this, that in WoW lore, is that goblins tricked the elementals into writing up a contract with them so they can use the elemental power in exchange for not doing certain industries in certain places important to the elementals. They basically became druids solely through just weaseling their way into doing it.
Can I mention that I felt bad when we did the first One Piece names when I laid on the backstory a little too thick? And I was like, that was mean. I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't have put too much effort into this
This is
because it
my
just.
revenge. This is my revenge.
I said in the video that I was sorry. I'm trying to like my my biggest insight into WoW is through Hearthstone
Mm-hmm.
because I did play quite a bit of Hearthstone in college, and you know, different packs, different sets have different themes that are all connected to WoW. Um, I believe you with the breathing in dust and turning them intelligent, and also becoming capitalist, because that makes sense. And also, from what I've seen from Hearthstone, that makes sense. I'm getting tripped up by a few things, but I'm gonna say overall that's true.
You did it.
Holy shit! I have a point.
That's true. Yeah, all of that is true.
Oh my god,
The goblins tricked the.
that's
It's
awesome.
actually interestingly enough. Apparently, when in the Cataclysm, when you're starting out as a goblin, a major issue the goblins are facing is they're becoming dumber, because since they aren't breathing in the Kajamite dust from the mines because they got slave labor to do that, they aren't getting the brain stimulation,
Mm.
and they're actually becoming dumber. So that was a
Wow.
big problem.
Wow, wow,
All
wow.
right, congrats. All right, let's.
Oh, I got him on board.
You're on to something. Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna go. We're gonna move on to my personal favorite villain from the World of Warcraft. That is the Lich King.
Ah,
So, the
I've heard of
Lich
him.
King. What was that?
I've heard of him, so I know
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah. I mean, Wrath of the Lich King was. I'm pretty sure it was one of, if not the highest points in subscriptions to World of Warcraft, and is fondly remembered by more or less the entire player base, both ex-players and current ones. So the Lich King is this undead force. He's not really like a person. He does take on the form of whatever the what's like the prime, the apex race, basically, of whatever planet, because he is an interdimensional entity of death. He controls what's known as the Undead Legion, who, it's just his will, it's literally his entire will just inside the corpses of anyone who is dead on the planet and has like a body enough to be raised. In fact, he does one better. He stitches together people's bodies into amalgamations. It was a very um, horror influenced expansion. And his one mission is as more or less just a conscious void from the outer planes or the outer universe. All he wants to do is to kill everyone, bring them up as forever perpetual living corpses, and just go about killing as any life he can come across, so that he is the only life in existence, so that he can then just go into unconsciousness and permanently bring all life to an end.
Uh, because that's just what's his fuck from Blackest Night,
Um, the,
Necron.
yeah, Necron.
But yeah, it's
I
everything
mean,
tracks. I'm gonna say that's true.
Blackest Night came after Wrath of the
You're
Lich
not
King.
wrong. You're not wrong. Although Necron was written in the early '90s.
He was?
He's way different. He was way different.
Ah, well, I was only going with like the one where he brought back all of like the Justice League, all the dead Justice League, and
Yeah.
he,
I'm gonna say that's true. That sounds believable.
nope, all
Ah,
that's a lie. So the Lich King is an interesting entity in that. So you remember Gul'dan, that orc I had mentioned when explaining the Horde to you?
yeah, I think he's like the base warlock in Hearthstone.
I would not be surprised. He was. Well, anyways, His master, named Ner'zhul, was the original leader of the Horde. He just didn't get to the point of invading other planets because he had pissed off the demon lord Kil'jaeden, who was his boss, to such an extent that when he attempted to travel into other planes of existence using portals for his own reasons, Kil'jaeden just intercepted him and decided to punish him by ripping his body off in pieces perpetually. He did this for a few years, got bored of it, so decided to permanently destroy Ner'zhul's body, but kept his soul alive in something that he created called the Helm of Domination, which he then sent to Azeroth to aid in the Demonic Legion's invasion of the planet. So, Prince of Lordaeron, Arthas Menethil, starts... He's the one who performs the Calling of Stratholme, which was something that the Demonic Legion wanted to do to corrupt him because they wanted him to become the Lich King's pawn. However, Arthas did not like being the pawn of anyone, and so went to claim the cursed sword Frostmourne for himself. Then traveled to Icecrown, where Ner'zhul was being held in the Helm of Domination, cut him out of it, and claimed himself to be the Lich King. So the Lich King was supposed to be a pawn to the Demonic Legion, decided not to do that. Two people ended up becoming one, where inside his head, inside the little gem thing, Arthas killed his innocence and then also killed Ner'zhul's soul, so it was just him as the Lich King. And his goal is to rule all of Azeroth by himself, by enforcing his will onto all the corpses of every living thing on Azeroth, and then to fight the Demonic Legion for disrespecting him.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Like, I this is kind of one of the things one of the barriers to like high fantasy for me. Like, I mean, I can memorize a lot of shit, but like pages on pages of lore, I get stuck on that.
Yeah, it doesn't help that retcons happen too in World of
Oh
Warcraft.
god
Like,
damn, that's the
like,
worst.
yeah, no, there's been with every expansion, there's at least 4 major retcons or recontextualizations.
I don't even pretend like I really know the full continuity of the DC universe, but like I understand the lore. I get it. Holy crap, that's a lot. All right, what's the
Yeah.
next one?
All right, the next one I've told you about probably one of the best villains in World of Warcraft. Time to tell you about one of the best anti-heroes. His name is Illidan Stormrage. He was born with his twin brother, Malfurion Stormrage, to the immortal, at the time immortal, Night Elven race. Interestingly, he was born with azure eyes, like these autumn, brownish, golden kind of eyes, which in Night Elf society is supposed to be a sign of someone with great magical potential, and they basically take it as to mean he has a great destiny. Problem was, Illidan was the biggest simp in existence because his childhood friend, Tyrande Whisperwind, was just head over heels in love with Malfurion. And Illidan didn't like that because he wanted Tyrande. So he goes on a journey of self-discovery, trying to become one of the first druids on Azeroth. Malfurion is chosen instead of him. So he decides to say fuck that, and in order to gain power, joins the Legion, then tells the Legion to go fuck themselves because he didn't want to be loyal to them, he just wanted the power to impress Tyrande. She was not impressed because he nearly destroyed the tree and the tree of life, which is the source of the Night Elf immortality, called him a monster to his face. He got then banished to Outworld, which was actually Draenor after it got destroyed, where he was held in prison. Then he came back to Azeroth because he was not done simping and was more and more pissed that Malfurion was not, coming to visit him or apologizing. And he gets killed. His last thoughts are literally of Tyrande, the woman who has repeatedly told him she does not love him called him a monster to his face the last time they spoke, and you actually eventually learn he had an entire army of elven, like, fanatics towards him, which contained women, so he could have chosen any woman he wanted, and chose not to. Dies, comes back to life, kills Gul'dan, is repeatedly called a monster again. Anaru tries to force him to stop being a demon because literally there is no reason for him to no longer be a demon other than him wanting to be the most biggest edgelord possible, screaming he is his scars, and then kills Anaru. And just kind of just fucks off to do his own thing after that.
Uh, that uh uh I don't know. I don't know. That sounded like a Frank Miller comic.
I mean,
Fuck it, it's true. It's all true.
yep, it's all true.
Oh, thank fuck.
Yeah, he still has the horns and the wings, and he refuses to get rid of them, even though literally no one likes him with them. It's weird.
Oh, I think I know. I think I know who you're talking about.
He's got
Oh my god.
he's got a bandana on his eyes too.
Does he got the weird like
yeah
blade
the
swords?
the double blades? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I know what that is.
Yeah, it's even people who are fans don't quite know what his deal is. Anyways, next up, an interesting thing because this isn't the main protagonist. This isn't like a villain or an anti-hero. It's just a massive fan favorite character, Thrall. Thrall, when Warcraft started, he was the war chief of the Horde. His real name is not Thrall, it's Go'el. It's just that when the Horde originally invaded, and they ran back through the portal after their invasion failed during the Second War, the portal was destroyed, and it just left a whole bunch of orcs just still on Azeroth with nothing to do. So concentration camps were built, and the orcs were put there. A small baby who was abandoned by his parents, named Go'el, was one of them in prison there. A pit fighter decided to adopt the baby and named him Thrall. Yes, this was a human pit fighter, which is weird. Thrall is raised basically as a gladiator until he realizes that he's being lied to and he's not some mutant human. He is, in fact, an orc when he finds more orcs being held at the concentration camps. He liberates them. He then goes on a campaign liberating other orcs and trying to find a proper home for them. He actually creates the Horde as we know it because he is the one who allows the trolls of the Darkspear tribe and the High Mountain Tauren into his, little bunch of friends. And from there, kind of starts just reforming the Horde. He makes women treated as on equal footing as the men, which was something apparently the Horde didn't do before him. He started studying more the shamanistic traditions to the point that he actually forewent his warrior training to become a shaman. He is currently not the war chief. He gave that up during Cataclysm so that he could try and help save the world. He did. He killed Deathwing. Then kind of just went away because he was tired of all the fighting, because even after Deathwing was dead, the Horde and Alliance still kept fighting. He got tired of that, started up a family. Then Sylvanas, the undead elf queen of the Forsaken, who were members of the Horde, basically decided she was going to go rogue and start killing a bunch of people. So Thrall got dragged in like John Wayne.
Wick. John Wick.
Yeah, John Wick, sorry.
Yeah, not John Wayne.
Pulled out of retirement to help solve the problem.
I want to make a joke about Blizzard not wanting to put actual concentration camps in their game, but even I don't believe that, so I'm gonna say that's true.
Yep, all that's true. He He is actually referred to as Green Jesus because of all the like ridiculous kind of like savior things he is constantly being doing.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, this one is going to be the last one because this is basically the character who I consider to be the source of all problems because quite literally he is where every bad thing that has ever happened in World of Warcraft stems from. And that is the Titan Sargeras. So, the Titans are basically the gods of the Azeroth world, for lack of a better term. They're not the light, so it's kind of confusing. They're technically on a different plane, and technically they're not really gods, they are sentient planets. The souls of planets, rather. Weird way. Anyways, Sargeras is the Titan of War. So, a lot like God of War with Ares, you kind of need to, do stuff like that. And a lot like the Mortal Kombat gods, the other gods don't really want to stop him because it'll ruin the balance of life and death if they do. So Sargeras, basically, his job is to just fly around the immense space of existence in the Warcraft universe and make sure a war happens at least every 100 years on every planet in this world. And that's kind of the thing. Just Azeroth keeps getting plunged into wars simply because Sargeras will just disguise himself as a member of one of the two factions and just commit an atrocity and just like ruin the fragile peace they have going. And no one's allowed to stop him because he's basically a godlike force far beyond anything anyone can actually, fight or kill. So, yeah, he's kind of like the best way I could describe him is sort of like Thor in power, but Loki in attitude. Like, he's got immense power. People are scared of actually stopping him. Like, there are at least a few world quests in World of Warcraft where you're basically told the truth that Sargeras did something, and you're kind of just expected that you're not going to tell anyone because it won't do any good. And you just let the conflict come to a natural end without letting people know Sargeras got involved.
This is difficult. You know what? I'm gonna be a rebel. You're a fucking liar. None of that's true. Fuck, he doesn't even exist. He's a fake character.
Okay, you went a bit too far. I congratulate you that yes, I was lying.
All right.
But I went. So the Titan Sargeras is a real character.
Yeah.
The thing was, he was in fact physically the strongest of the Titans, and so he was charged with fighting back the old gods, who are these beings that stemmed from the hellish dimension called the Twisting Nether. And he, over the course of centuries, not even centuries, millennia, literally just went around killing old gods and trapping demons in his own little pocket dimension prison. Problem was, eventually he came to find that there are some old gods that are trying to bring up their power by taking over a planet and corrupting the world soul, the Titan soul inside of it, so that they could have an old god Titan. Sargeras thought that would lead to something horrible, so destroyed a planet, basically aborting the Titan soul inside, which the Titans did not like, because he didn't tell them about this first, so that they could actually make a decision on this, because there's no guarantee that the old gods could even do something like that, or that it would be happening soon, even if they could, and there's about a million other ways they probably could have solved that problem. Sargeras was not deterred, however, and instead decided that if the other Titans were going to be little bitch-asses about dealing with the old gods, Sargeras was going to do the only logical solution. Kill every planet in the universe so that the old gods cannot possibly create an old god titan.
They can't do their plan if there are no planets.
Exactly. So he opened up the prison that he put all the demonic forces from the Twisted Nether, the same place the old gods came from, mind you, and just set them on a burning crusade throughout the universe to invade planets and either transform all the creatures on that planet into a demonic race to be used by the Legion or wipe them out. And that's just what he's been doing. And so on Azeroth, the orcs invaded because Sargeras told them to, because he lied to Ner'zhul and convinced him to become a demonic race. He basically is the one in charge of every single demonic invasion. Kil'jaeden was an underling of Sargeras, you know, the guy who created the Lich King. Every single demon that's ever invaded was because of him. Sargeras corrupted Deathwing, so that became a thing. Yeah, literally every single problem is because Sargeras. And actually, he was killed.
Oh, wow.
In the Legion expansion, he just killed him. There's problems still exist, however, but I mean, he's gone.
I mean, as they do. When you kill God, it doesn't mean that the problems go away.
Yeah.
I mean, just if you ever read the Amber Spyglass, like they kill God and the problems don't just disappear.
No, I actually haven't read that. But yeah,
it's great.
So, yeah, I hope, if nothing else, this little game has shown you how absolutely insane and nonsensical WoW's lore is.
I commend the writers over there for putting that much time and effort into this universe. It definitely feels like it has existed for centuries.
Yeah,
It's pretty nuts.
I kind of am a little bit amazed. I'm pretty sure the truths I was telling you sounded more unrealistic than the lies I came up with.
I mean, orcs are aliens. I'm never getting over that.
Yeah, the orcs are aliens, and also they aren't naturally green skinned. They're actually brown skinned.
Okay, fine, be that way.
Yeah, no, they got green skin because they drank demon blood.
As you do.
Yeah.
That was an interesting experience.
Yeah, it was. How does it feel to be on the other end of the spectrum on this?
You're either you're just way better at this shit than I am, or I'm just way more lenient. I don't know either way.
Either or, really.
Either way, that was fun.
Yeah.
That was not easy, but that's what made it fun. Like how people tell me Dark Souls is supposed to be. That also has lore that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Dark Souls is. I mean, when your lore is fed to you through chest plates and swords,
Yeah.
you can only get so far.
Yeah, that's fucked up. At least it's not on a fucking website. You have to fucking search up Destiny.
Yeah.
But anyway, jokes about other video games aside, World of Warcraft, everyone.
Woo!
All right. We've been going for a long time, and we got one more video to record. So we'll see you next week with that one.
See ya.